This week, on Days of Our Steelers, a devastating loss leaves the team on the outside looking in for the first time this season. After his fumble against the Saints, Juju Smith-Schuster did something many Steelers haven't done this year. Took responsibility for his actions. He personally apologized for the fumble, even if it wasn't the main reason they lost, and vowed for it to never happen again. It's honestly a breath of fresh air. Somebody should quash it as it doesn't involve drama. The same can't be said for defensive coordinator Keith Butler, whose performance has been highly suspect. He stated that he's worried about a certain target who will garner a lot of attention in the next game, Tyler Eifert. For the record, Tyler Eifert has a broken ankle and cannot physically run at this time. Sadly, he's probably right. They couldn't cover a geriatric in Antonio Gates, so they'll need at least 3 linebackers on him at all times. This next game is against a Bungles team injured to hell and back, but the Black and Gold Brigade are suffering some as well. First, the much-maligned kicker Chris Boswell banished to IR for reasons of discomfort. They must now rely on a kicker that hasn't kicked a field goal longer than 45 yards at the NFL level. Including injuries to Vince Williams and Sean Davis, the next one is a big blow to their ambitions. The Diva. He hadn't practiced all week due to knee issues and will be unable to play in this crucial game. Wait, AB had a knee injury? This doesn't make sense. Despite the blows to team depth, the Steelers come out with purpose and once again embarrassingly play down to their competition. Are you fucking kidding me with this shit? You know damn well you have to win to stay alive in the playoff hunt, yet this is the most uninspired I've seen this team all year. Are you guys too busy openly cheering on the Browns to give a fuck? Apparently you are, as Captain Fatfuck threw another pick and gave the Bungles the lead on a pick 6. How wonderful, you're losing to a team you were favored by 15 to beat. It's quite obvious these guys have checked out. They had to be deflated after the loss to New Orleans. It's the only explanation I've got. But everything's okay. They kicked a fucking field goal before halftime. What great progress against a team that's fucking dead. At this rate, it doesn't matter if they win. They don't deserve the postseason with such an uninspired performance. This was their chance to prove something to me, and they sure as hell didn't. This can't be all related to the Diva, and no way does the offense look this damn flat against a team with a defense close to an SEC outfit. I kinda feel they were too busy worrying about games other than their own. Doesn't matter in the long run, as the Black and Gold Brigade did the bare minimum to win thanks to their new kicker Matt McCrane having a pretty solid day. Well done, boys! You beat the Bungles! A team that would probably be beaten by Alabama handily with how battered they are. I should bring you guys home and let you fuck my sister. Now they must sit and wait for Cleveland to do their part. The scene in Pittsburgh is something out of the Twilight Zone. Nobody's left the stadium. Steelers fans cheering for the Browns. The team readying AFC North shirts for their triumphant victory. Cleveland is marching down the field. By God, it's destiny.
A 4th and 10, and here they come. Mayfield's pass. It's intercepted by Mosley.
To declare the season over. Do you hear that? That's the sound of a collapse in slow motion. I knew this team had severe flaws, but never in my wildest dreams did I think they would miss the playoffs. Honestly, it's completely fucking deserved. The way the Steelers went about this season was nauseating at best and malignant at its worst. Days of Our Steelers? Does that sound like a healthy organization to you? The fact that I got fresh material every fucking week for this goddamn show is a testament to the year. Self-inflicted ineptitude. That knee injury AB had? Turns out he was bitching up a storm and getting into arguments with Ben. Once again skipping practices and being such a cancer that he was benched from the game. Yep, that's it. It's quite obvious that they didn't learn from last year's embarrassing loss in the playoffs, so it's time for me to go harder. If you'll excuse me, I need to grind my axe. Captain Fatfuck, the glorious leader of men. If you couldn't tell, I despise this man. It's a shame that a quarterback of that ability is such an unlikable piece of shit that the world wants nothing more than to see him fail. This is far from an old grudge or vendetta about his past for one simple reason. He hasn't changed one fucking bit. He's still the petty, self-serving asswipe that he was when he was one of the more infamous people in the North Hills bar scene. Look at the way he criticizes others publicly for shit that's partially his own goddamn fault, failing to take any sort of responsibility for his actions. It's the thing that I can't stand about him, the one thing that grinds me to my very core. It's always about you. It's the reason why the offensive coordinator got replaced with your puppet. It's why the Steelers do nothing but throw the goddamn ball. It's why nobody will admit the reality that Captain Fatfuck is becoming more of a liability to the team with his antics and boneheaded turnovers. You're not a goddamn leader. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Now we get to deal with more limbo as you play Brett Favre and bitch about rookies they may draft. I'd wish something bad would happen, but I won't. The CTE will take you down by the time you're 60. Let me share with you a fun fact about Le'Veon Bell. When he was selected by the Steelers, Bell was considered to be a character pick. Somebody really fucked up with that assessment. In what way is Bell showing character? All of those cringe-inducing rap tracks? No showing practice before a playoff game? Liking Steelers losses on Instagram? Whining like a little bitch because he was going to make more than most of us will make in our entire lives? Way to piss away $14.5 million, Le'Veon. I sincerely, in my heart of hearts, hope this stunt you pulled blows up in your face spectacularly. Who's going to want a dispassionate fuck who cares more for jet skis in Miami and slapping asses at strip clubs than the team he plays for? You're a petulant fucking child. You're a goddamn headache that had the stats you had because you were behind one of the best O-lines in football. And then you got an insatiable ego and decided to bitch out because of a non-existent market for your services. Don't worry, Bell, somebody's going to pay you for the brand. And they're going to immediately regret it. AB. The diva needs his feathers clipped and fast. The man may be an incredible talent, but the only thing growing besides his stat line are the malignant traits of his personality. We saw it in week 2 when you were flipping out on Ben's puppet for not getting you the ball enough. We saw it when you threatened to break a reporter's jaw for not sucking your dick in an article. We saw it when you no-showed practice and told someone sarcastically to trade you. I physically cannot cheer for this guy. I know the catches are amazing, but I keep thinking back to when he chucked furniture out of a 14th floor balcony and another bitch fit. Always pouting, always whining to get the ball. That shit you pulled this past weekend, that's just icing on the cake. This fucker is so egotistical that Narcissus is shaking his head in disgust. This man has become toxic and the Steelers have chosen to swim in it. You want a Madden curse? Here it is. Endless stats but nothing that really matters. Whining can't get you rings. Divas rarely win them and AB is running straight towards it. Thanks for vindicating my claims. For a year and a half. I swear to the holiest of deities, if you fuckers corrupt Juju and turn him into an abominable monster, I will hunt every one of you down and kill you in your sleep. I'm tired of talking about Mike Tomlin. It's the same goddamn shit every fucking year with this guy. Horrible clock management, the painfully cliched press conferences, the lack of controlling the insatiable egos on the team, his pathetic play call challenges, the inability to hold people accountable for their actions, hideously playing down to vastly inferior competition on nearly every fucking occasion. Once again, when it happens repeatedly, it's not a fluke, that's what we call a trend. Players and coordinators keep changing. What hasn't? The head coach. I used to think the calls for his head were ridiculous, but this season proved how incompetent he truly is. Look at the excuses he brought up. A fucking x-ray machine? That's your excuse for leaving one of your best weapons on the sideline? No big deal, they just need to raid Le'Veon's locker. It's therapeutic, and nothing will be done because that's how most fucking locker rooms act. Keep pretending you have the high road and ignore the drama. It's really doing this team some good. This is a goddamn circus and Mike is the ringmaster. The standard is the standard, you know. The time has come for heads to roll and it needs to start with Tomlin. But that's just a pipe dream. After all, Joey Porter is still here. Fichtner, I'm not going to waste my time. That dude's a yes man for Big Ben. Keith Butler is the reason why I'm starting to believe loyalty is a terrible trait to have in an organization. So many goddamn years marinating, and all this guy knows are fucking linebackers. Hell, he has them covering the best wideouts on the other team. He can't design schemes. He can't fit to the D's strengths. He thinks players who can't physically run are a threat to the defense. This dude is taking the piss. He's way over his goddamn head. Makes sense how he was only a linebackers coach for every year except one before the Steelers. Wasn't he supposed to be different than LeBeau? All I'm seeing is a watered-down imitation of that defense. Just no. Danny Smith is fucking useless. How many times are the Steelers going to be penalized on opening kickoffs? Wait, hold on. The main strategy to block field goals is to keep going off sides on them. Whenever I look at the Steelers and everything leaking out of the locker room, what I see is an organization infested with cancer. And you know what you do when you find cancer? You cut it out. For far too long, they have let cancer become malignant and metastasize throughout its entire mass. It finally caught up to them this year. From going 7-2-1 and a 97% chance at the playoffs to completely missing them is total incompetence. With this level of talent on the roster, two of the best receivers in the game, the best offensive line in football, a defensive line full of playmakers, and minimal injuries and you can't even sniff the postseason, that's catastrophic failure. You just can't keep kicking the can down the road with this kind of team. The way things have been done haven't fucking worked. This extreme situation requires extreme measures. Wholesale purge. Any sort of tumor in this organization needs to go and now. Tomlin, Feetner, Butler, Danny Smith, Joey Porter, Bud Dupree, fucking Bince, Le'Veon, the cancer known as AB, they all needed to fuck off yesterday. Even Ben needs to be considered for removal. Do you really want that kind of baggage with an aging body? Some healthy tissue is removed so they make sure the cancer is gone. The shit that's being pulled can no longer fucking fly. There's this one word that's paramount. Accountability. It's critical in every other business, and let's face it, the Steelers are a business. A failing one. Even if you think I'm crazy for this, there's no need to worry. Nothing will change. The Steelers will keep course with the same shit next year and the year after that. Artie II will bring in some old faces from the 70s with some thinly veiled speech about family and the Steeler way. Pittsburgh doesn't fire coaches. They retire or have their contracts conveniently expire. After all, they beat New England. That's a sign things are on the up and up. There's only one quote that summarizes this team.
Remember, the saddest thing in life is wasted talent. You could have all the talent in the world, but if you don't do the right thing, then nothing happens. But when you do right, guess what? Good things happen.
At the end of the day, that's all this team is. A waste. And it will continue in perpetuity at this rate. Nothing has shown me that they want to change. With the actions shown, I see nothing but arrogance and the inability to even take a shred of criticism. What they can't block is that they have no one to blame but themselves for the predicament they're in. They're becoming more and more of a joke as time passes. And it's going to continue because of stubbornness. See you next year. What the hell do you mean we're not done?